Hey, how you doing, guys? Today's Friday. It's the end of the week. Everyone will be playing games and resting. As I'm assuming that a lot of people are having some drinks tonight. Let's keep it short. Just have to move after the presentation. So this one is going to be quite short. Let's get straight to the subject. We are closing all week about your first job, giving some tips and actionable advice on how to properly apply to companies and land your first job. This one is about probably the most intimidating part of the hiring process, which is basically the R test. So, first of all, there is a disclaimer. There is no universal rule for R test. Every R test is different depending on the company and even on the studio. So one R test at Ubisoft Annecy might be different than Ubisoft Montreal and stuff like that. But let's try to give overall rules of thumbs about that. So basically, first thing you need to remember, as we said, is that the R test, it's part of the hiring process. It's part of the gatekeeping process that the HR and recruitment team are establishing in front of you to filter people and make sure that if you land that job, you are ready and able to handle that. Second of all, an R test is often very hard in order to get a lot of people discouraged and challenged. This way, they see if you really have the guts for the job or not. This is the introduction disclaimer. R tests in general, they are super controversial because if you look for information on the internet, especially from more experienced artists, a lot of experienced artists will say that it's kind of disrespectful because they should not doubt your skills and stuff like that. Some of the artists are saying it's completely mandatory to ask an artist to do one. Some artists say it's okay to do R tests for free. Some artists say it's absolutely unacceptable to do them for free. Let's say it's up to you to accept doing one or not, but basically need to remember that as a first job, it's like apply or goodbye. So if you are replaceable with a snap of a finger, you might not be able to argue against the conditions of the R test. We'll talk about the free work disguised as R test trap at the end of the presentation. This is the only one you need to be very careful about that. But basically, you need to remember that if a company needs you to do an R test as you are applying to them, and if you say no to that R test, you are basically disqualified from getting the job. You just need to remember that. So again, be willing to walk away if something crosses your boundaries. But remember that saying no to an R test, refusing to comply to that, is killing the deal. When you apply, you are the weaker part of the relationship between you and the company. When they contact you to work for them, now that you have advantage, they probably won't even ask you to do any kind of R test because they already know they want you. So let's say you apply to get an opportunity and basically you get the R test for a company. Here's what to expect. An R test is here to allow the company to see several things. One, if your portfolio work is legit or not, by you being able to reach the level of your portfolio pieces in a given amount of time. Second of all, to see if you are able to deliver work that matches their style and process. And finally, if you are able to understand efficiently the pitch that they give you. Otherwise, if you get it overall and you know what they want and what they need. During the R tests, when it starts, You'll be given a kind of subject that might be tied to a project, or a bit different, or even completely different compared to the project that they are working on, that you might be working on. In any case, something you must do is to treat it as if it was a project from the company with their visual codes and art direction in mind. This is unless the pitch that is given to you tells you to do a completely different thing from what they are doing in terms of style and stuff like that, but this makes absolutely no sense. I don't see Ubisoft, for example, asking you to do something like Blizzard style, as they are working on something crazy realistic. It makes no sense. They are shooting themselves in the foot if they do that. Sometimes if the project is still under NDA, that's why it's so important to do your research on both the style of their project, but also on what they might be working on. And maybe in the job offer, there are some hints, like the requirement, you need to be able to provide highly stylized pieces of environment. This might give you some clues about the kind of artist you might experience. Something you absolutely need to do is to respect the subject to the letter. Do not forget anything, nor add or change anything more. Even if the subject seems stupid or cliche, or contrary to what is trendy or politically correct to do, you're not here to change the company. You are a person with little experience, little to no experience actually, trying to be given a chance for a first job. So you must deliver exactly what they want, they ask you, even if you don't like it. You must respect the subject to the letter in terms of style, subject, quantity, and quality. If they ask you to do like 10 character sketches of a young male pirate, don't do 8, don't do 12, don't do a female one. If they don't ask you to do one, just do 10 young male pirates, regardless of how you feel about that. This is just an exercise. This is not about changing the world or doing anything for a production in general. So it's just an exercise. Let's treat that as an exercise. Do your best to present your work in a similar fashion to what you have seen while doing your research about senior artists and juniors. See, when there is an airdrop, there is often that nice picture with the logos. Try to do the same thing. Don't put the logos, of course. But do the same presentation to make your work match as much as possible what you have seen in the company. This way they can project themselves like, hey, this guy or this girl is already producing something pretty similar to what we have. We could probably see that in our art book. So they can project themselves working with you already. So do a proper presentation. And if you are done your research, at the time you do the art test, the presentation should be second nature because you have done an entire portfolio presented the same way. Something else you absolutely need to do, even though it seems like common sense, is to deliver absolutely in time and in business hours. Let's say you have 4 days and you must deliver before 10 a.m. on the 5th day. Please send it around 9 a.m. of the 5th day at maximum. And make sure you do not get an email telling you it was impossible to send the mail because it was too heavy. Generally, companies' mailbox, they only accept up to 10 megabytes worth of file. So make sure that your pictures are a bit lighter than that. Make sure that your email got received. If it tells you before 10 a.m., you deliver at 9 a.m. If it tells you before 9 a.m., you deliver at 8, something like that. But don't deliver at 6 a.m. or 3 or 4, unless asked otherwise, of course. Because let's say you send your email at 4:27 a.m. If they see that, they see the hour on which you have sent that, they might ask themselves some kind of questions like, were you crunching during the night to finish it in emergency? Are you a night owl? Are you not organized so that you can work during business hours? To me, this is kind of bad for trust. They are asking you questions. And they might even question the fact that you are potentially crunching. Like, was this person too slow or too lazy or too unorganized or not caring? In any case, they are asking them some questions that are pretty bad for your trust. Exactly the same if you deliver late. Let's say you had to deliver at 10 a.m., deliver at 11. That's too late. And that's generally, if they are sticking to rules, that's dead for you. But in any case, it shows that you are not organized and it's bad for trust. Even if you send it at 10 a.m. and 1 minute is already too late. Don't deliver too early. If you have 4 days, don't send it at the end of the third day to flex on your speed. Because if it's not good enough, well, you just had an additional day given to you and you squandered that advantage because you prefer to rush on the walk. Hello, Nupon, how are you doing, bro? It's been a while. Come to a chat at some point after the presentation. Maybe you can have a chat. It'd be cool. It's been a while. So yeah, if you're 4 days, use the 4 days. Don't send it at the end of the third day to flex on whatever, because they will be like, hey, you had 4 days, it was your budget. You were too fast. You could have spent more time refining stuff, and they will deliberately find excuses for you who should have basically stick to those 4 days. They'll be like, hey, you see, you could have cleaned that, you could have cleaned that, you could have made that a bit better and stuff like that. Nice. TWW, what is that? Anyways, you must also respect in terms of resolution and format. I don't care if you never exported your sketches in 16-bit TIFF format before. If the company asks you that, don't even argue against it. Just do it. It's just saving a file in Photoshop or in 3D. That's fine. There's probably a reason for them to do it. And if there are no reason, it's just to see and to test you to see if you can basically respect the subject. Oh, Total Warhammer, okay. If the picture is like 3K pixel wide maximum, don't go over that. Even if you are used to work with 8K pixel wide picture, just follow the rules stupidly and reduce the size of your picture at the end. It's just about being stupid, delivering exactly what they want, nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. It's all about respecting the rules of the game. You can see everything like a game, basically. Respecting the rules, it basically allows you to access the second round of the selecting process, aka the review of your work for the art test. This is going to be such a short presentation. But anyways, I still have done one. If you have questions for the art test, ask them quickly after having received the brief for the art test. And ask them in one single email. You should be ready to receive an email if they tell you, hey, this day 9 a.m. you receive the email. You are here 10 minutes before, you wait for the email, you refresh all the time. You read it carefully, you take like 30 minutes to digest it properly. You highlight some terms, you circle, you write the subject to fully understand it. You rephrase that in other ways in your head to make sure you fully get it, that you fully have a grasp of it. And then, and only then, you contact them. Thank them for having sent you that, of course. And also, if you have any question, you ask them right now. Avoid asking 50 questions. They don't have the time for that and they will just think that you don't get it. If there is something paradoxical or unclear, mention it and explain why it's paradoxical. Don't be the smartass like, hey, TIFF 16-bit format makes no sense. Why? Don't argue against that. But if at some point it's like, hey, you mentioned daytime, but then you mentioned dusk, Is that perfectly clear, or is there something? Is there a typo in the text, something like that? If there is like something really, really strange or paradoxical, just ask that. It might show that you are paying attention to. I think having a maximum of 1 or 2 questions is good. It should be fine. Next point about the R test is basically sometimes they ask you to deliver you like a daily update for a few days. In that case, do that. Be ready to answer to them. Be ready to talk with them. Be available. Because sometimes they might want to monitor that, and other times they don't care. Of course, don't steal anything. Don't cheat. Just use your regular process. Don't try to reinvent the wheel about your process and your style and stuff like that, because they got used to what they have seen from you in your portfolio, and they probably expect something similar in terms of process, tools, and such. So don't think that you need to deliver something different. Just do your best to deliver something that is as good as what you have in your portfolio. This is just about not screwing that up. This is not about scoring a home run. Next question. Do you need to be paid for your artist? This will start a huge debate. This has always been a huge debate amongst artists. Some of them think that you should not be paid for an artist. Some of them think that you should absolutely be paid. There's no rule written in the stone. Here is my opinion on that. Is that, first of all, it kind of depends. But more than that, if the subject of the artist has nothing to do with the company's actual production, well, in that case, it's just a test subject for you to work on, and they won't do anything with it. So technically, they are already giving you a bit of their time and attention. So you should not be paid. But if it's a work that perfectly fits their project, that's where it's tricky, because if you sign like an NDA and you read it badly, you might actually be working for them already, and they might not be able to do whatever they want with your work then. So you need to be very careful about that. You need to read again the contract, as we said yesterday. Make sure that they are not allowed to use that in production. Sometimes you sign a contract like, hey, please, if we have something similar in our work, don't sue us. This is generally for your portfolio. Like for Disney, for example, when you send your portfolio to Disney in general, at least it was like that at the time, you sign basically a contract where basically whatever you have into it, you are declining any responsibility if there is something similar in their upcoming movies. This is not to steal your work. They don't care. They are paying pretty expensive artists already and pretty talented want to do the work. It's just that, let's say you happen to have a concept art of a castle that they are also using as an inspiration in their next movie. It's pretty similar, like Neuschwanstein, for example. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. Like, let's say they are using one specific castle, you are using the same one of your concept. They don't want any trouble because they know that they are often using stuff based on reality and other people might be doing so. It's just to avoid any problem of getting accused of stealing their work or stuff like that. But for art tests, it's different because you are actually working. And if it's so similar that it could fit within the project, generally, read the lines, make sure that they are not allowed to use that in a production. Otherwise, if they can, or if it's unclear, maybe in that case, you might ask to get paid. It's kind of hard to tell. But my rule of thumb with that is that if it's a AAA company like Ubisoft, EA, Activision, stuff like that, you should not get paid. because they're kind of clean with that. If it's an indie company that almost nobody knows about, that asks you for that, be very careful, because it might be you working for free covertly for them. If it's a reputable AAA company, even though every company is on fire right now, but still big company anyways, asking you to do that, in that case, be careful. Hello, Novel. How are you doing? So yeah, I would be tempted to tell you, if it's a AAA, don't ask for money. If it's an indie company that nobody knows about, see if you can ask for money. So yeah, that's the point about artists. But artists themselves, hello Foskog, you are all arriving while I'm done with the presentation. I'm sorry. It's a very short one today. If you have some question about the subject, feel free to ask. Oh my god, Nupern, thank you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, that's a prime. Wow. Thank you, man. We appreciate that. Yeah, about artists in general. They are meant to be hard. They are meant to challenge you. And if they are smart, they would ask you to basically go beyond what you know already. So basically, I'm going to give you my example about Ubisoft, the artist at Ubisoft. I'm going to share my screen pretty soon. Give me a sec. I'm going to just open my, my internet. Let's have a look at what I did. There we go. So I had to do this picture and this picture in 4 days. And basically at the time, I was like, shoo, there is no way I'm able to do that in 4 days. Between the 3D, the photo bashing, stuff like that, they were like, we need to have so much detail that we need to get lost when zooming in it. I was like, shit, it's going to be tough. Basically, what the artist was asking me was to basically become better immediately on everything. It's designed to be challenging, to push you beyond what you know. They are knowing what they are doing, to see if you are basically able to learn while doing at the same time. To me, this artist was really like the do it or don't do it, but there is no try. It was like, okay, I need to learn and apply immediately new stuff right now, and there's no fail allowed. The resolution was crazy high. Let me check if I have the picture in full res. There we go. Nope. Do I have them? Artist. There we go. Yeah, you see, you zoom and crazy amount of details. Need to read the tags and everything. It's not perfect, but it was enough at the time. Yeah, at the time, my previously best work was some stuff like that. Or like that. Which is flowed in so many ways. There's so many flows at different places. So jumping from this to this was pretty tough. So yeah, don't be discouraged if it's hard. It's part of the process. And I really expect you to think if it's hard, it's not a reason to quit. You just need to stick through it to endure that. And actually, as it's a very stressful and a compressed amount of time and effort, if you are sticking to that, you will really surprise yourself by how much you can achieve. Like, it took me to do the 3D scene, it took me like 2 days. It took me like 1 day and a half, plus 1 day and a half of rendering for the 3D, because there was no V-Ray, no Octane, no Cycle, no GPU rendering. It was shitty CPU rendering on Mental Ray, which is an abomination. And it was pretty hard. It was pretty long. Then I took 1 day and a half to do that picture with all the photo bashing and stuff like that. Because there's so much photo bashing everywhere. Then you have the paint over, then you have the tags. Then you need to destroy the pillars and stuff like that. Very tough. And then I had like 1 night to do this one. I did it actually in like 3 hours. I was kind of surprised. I finished like at 3 a.m. I had to deliver before 10 a.m. And it was kind of tough for me because I was like, okay, if I fall asleep, I would never wake up in time. I was just zooming everywhere to see the mistakes and stuff like that. I was listening to a lot of music very hard to keep me awake, drinking tea, drinking coffee. I was just waiting. Okay, let's wait till 9 a.m. Let's wait, let's keep up. The email was prepared, but it was just about basically making sure that 9 a.m. I click on sending and making sure it's sent, that it's arrived, that there's no error message. Then it's good. Took me a lot of effort to not fall asleep. But yeah. During the art test, avoid any distraction, of course. Warn everyone around you, like your parents, your friend, your girl or boyfriend, whatever, that you are not available, and that actually a bit of help would not be too much. So if you have someone like a roommate, your parents, significant other that can help you at the time, it might be really, really worth it. Because time is precious, you won't sleep that much. If you can save like 1 hour and a half per day just because you don't have to cook, this is good. Otherwise, if you're living alone, just order pizzas, I don't know. Or make some meal prep before. Anyways. That's your overall idea about art test. It's kinda... Oops. It's kinda tough. But it's necessary, and if you follow exactly to the letter and you do exactly what you have been used to do for your portfolio, there's no reason it's bad. There's no reason you will fail or stuff like that. Of course, also remember There might be other people doing exactly the same art test as you right now. So even if you are good enough, some people might still be better than you. That's part of the game. It's still a competition after all. That's exactly what happened to me on my art test. It's like, hey, for the division, we have someone a bit better than you that would work on the job instead of you. But we are remembering about you. I was a bit mad. A few weeks after, they called me to work on Steep. So don't be mad, even if it's good. To get rejected, it happened. It's all about not giving up. But again, same question. You can ask the same question that you might experience when facing some kind of rejection during convention and stuff like that. What would I need to improve to make it work on the next time? To make it good enough for you to hire me on the next time? Ask that question, you will get invaluable pieces of feedbacks. Especially if you were very, very close to succeed. This shows that you are motivated. This shows that you want to succeed, you want to learn. So you are displaying all the qualities that they require from you as a junior. Plus, they might be remembering you. Because they give you the feedback, you might even say like, okay, see you in a few months. I'm applying that in a new portfolio, see you in a few months. This is a bit cocky, but if you say that in a nice way, in an assertive way, and they trust you, they might really, really remember you. And in 3 to 4 months, once you are delivering your new portfolio, you're like, oh, indeed, that kid improved a lot. That's good. So yeah, it's all about sticking to it, doing your best, following the rules to the letter. You get accepted, nice. You will go towards the interview that we discussed yesterday or 2 days ago, I don't remember. And if you get rejected, ask for feedback and come back a few months after. That's it. Is there any question before we wrap that up? I won. This was a short stream. And there is 8 people watching that. Wow. It's a lot of people for Friday. I joined the Discord if you want to ask your question directly with voice chat. Otherwise, you can write them in the chat. In the meantime, for people watching the replay on YouTube, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to join us on Twitch to see the videos live and interact with the community and with us together. So you can ask your question during the presentations. You can even join us on Discord, link down below, to ask your question live with your voice chat. If you want to support the stream, you know how to do that. There are some links. Support the stream. And if you want to support it in an other way than the financial one, feel free to recommend the channel to people you think might find it useful. People who are looking for their first job, people doing reconversion, art students struggling with stress, not knowing what they want to do, people that are eager to be successful, stuff like that. All right. Let's wait again 30 seconds. Should I mention I achieved my art test for architecture school entrance due to your advice? Wow, it was a long time ago, I guess. How many years was that? I don't even remember, man. It's been so long. I've been studying for so long. 5 years? 7 years? I don't remember. I think it was 5 years ago. 6.5 years ago. Holy shit, we've been knowing each other for so long. Oh, also something else. Something else. Yeah, we're old. Something else. When you are doing an artist, generally you are under NDA. So it's kind of hard to ask for feedbacks. But if you have someone you really, really, really trust, this is not advice, this is up to you. But if there is someone you truly trust that is better than you, willing to give you feedback because they know you have an artist and this person told you, hey, if you need help during your artist, ask me. And you really trust that person, maybe this is not advice, do not break NDAs, but maybe ask for some tips. This is always good to have some support, someone better than you to help you and to kind of art direct you while you are on your own for a few days. I'm too far to apply for a job right now, but hearing you is helping me a lot to get an idea on how it works. Thank you a lot. It's a very, very gentle compliment. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna wrap that up for tonight. This was a bit short. The subject was a bit short too. See you next week. We'll see about the subject. Again, feel free to recommend the channel to people you know that might benefit from that. This is the best way I'm gonna continue on you to help me grow the channel and spread the message. In the meantime, have a nice evening and have a nice weekend, guys. Take care.